All right, folks. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to today's session. Today, I'm told, is the 11th session. It is Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. here in California. Today, we should pay a lot of attention, and we'll see why. So, well, puns apart. Last week, we covered, what did we cover last week? GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. Today, our topic will be, in fact, the topic that we are going to cover represents a watershed moment in the history of artificial intelligence. Many people recognize this as perhaps this architecture that I'm going to teach you today as the most profound architecture discovered in decades. So if you realize that GANs were remarkable, and autoencoders were remarkable, and CNNs were remarkable, today we are going to encounter the one architecture which has made the word artificial intelligence a word that is spoken in every household around the world today. Many households around the world. It is quite, therefore, important architecture. We now have the foundations to learn about it. Before I do it, I would like to get over some administrative stuff. I have a couple of things. I have a note from my accountant, and in this course, we are coming to a closure. Those of you who are in Sunday's course, it's a reminder that we're coming to the end of the course. So those of you who are on installment should clear up your payments. I'll leave it at that. Now, I have an announcement to make. In this course, which was very theory and explanation and understanding driven, it was focused on making sure you understand what these neural architectures are. We made sure that you understood what a loss function means, what gradient descent is, what backpropagation means. It went quite deeply into the theory of the subject, isn't it? And to the extent that we could absorb, or perhaps a little bit more, I did introduce mathematics into it. Now, it came at a cost. We had only 12 sessions at our disposal. And in these 12 sessions, because this field has expanded so much, it was not feasible to also do the practical, the labs of it. And it was a conscious decision to first lay the foundations and then to come to the labs. So the lab version or the lab continuation of this course will happen in the fall season. And it will happen along with the boot camp 2 and so forth, which will be it will not teach anything new, well, a little bit new, but it will relook at everything that we have covered in this course. But no theory, only labs, only code examples and practical examples and Jupyter notebooks. It will be completely dominated with Jupyter notebooks and building little things, seeing how each of these work. For example, we learned about GAN. As you noticed, in GAN itself, there are many types of GANs. There's cyclic GAN, there's this GAN, there's that GAN, there's V2 GAN, right? So DC GAN, all of it put together is worthy of a whole course. But we didn't get time to do any of the practical things. But in practice, that is what you use. When you, for example, go to the website, this person does not exist. It is using a GAN. I believe it's using a style GAN or cyclic GAN. One of these two, you can check it out. I think it's style GAN too is the algorithm. So now in the part 2, we will only do Jupyter notebooks, we'll walk through the code, and we will have little code exercises completely focused on doing things rather than math. Nonetheless, to do things, you need some foundation. You need to have, you need to review all that you have learned now. We will supplement those labs with little quizzes. Those quizzes will be just refreshers of everything that you have learned in this class. Are we together, guys? Okay. So, and more than that, it will be oriented towards practical things. So the quizzes will test that what happens if you, in a GAN, for example, if you make the learning rate of the generator bigger than the learning rate of the discriminator. What happens if the generator, if the generator gets to learn twice as fast as the discriminator? Those are the things you can't answer unless you actually play around, write your own GAN, and see the consequence. Are we together? Right. So that course, which is this particular course was AI 100. That course is AI 200. Again, I'm not going to publicly announce that course because the moment I announce it, then it's a first come, first serve. The classroom may fill up very quickly. The roster may fill up very quickly. Now, I'm keeping a gap till next week, till next Tuesday, before I open it up to all of you. But if you are interested, please let me or Kate know. Are we together? And you will have to reserve your spot and to make sure that it's not a frivolous request and then later on you change your mind. Because we are taking a seat away from somebody else who's very interested. These are very hot topics. So we'll request you to put down a nominal amount. You're not necessarily the whole tuition. If you want to put down the whole tuition, it's up to you. But some nominal amount, something like, let's say $400 or $500 you have to put down to register for part 2 if that interests you. So just as a show of hands, how many of you are likely to be there in the lab version of this course? Okay, I have one. Okay, so it seems that there are not that many. In that case, I'll just open it up to the public. It is just the labs, Jupyter notebooks on exactly the same topics that we have covered. So for example, it will be feed-forward networks, convolutional networks, encoders, autoencoders, variational autoencoders, GANs, transformers, visual transformers, and a little bit more diffusion models, etc., etc. But purely from a Jupyter notebook, from a lab, from a little programming exercises perspective to get hands-on. It will all start in the first week of August. Okay. So if you are going to join, please let me or Kate, or just send an email to info@supportvectors.com, and you're welcome to join them. We have, obviously, we'll limit the seating to that. So it may fill up because it's lab-based, and we'll give you access to the hardware for that. So because of the hardware access, it may be a bit of a limited seating situation. Or on the other hand, if the class doesn't fill up, then of course you can join as late as you want. But we don't know. At this moment, we're getting a lot of outside interest, including from companies. All right, so that is that. And with that, I'll end the introduction. I'll start with the topic of the day. Let me start and go.